The moment this leaked, the Browns building went ice cold. Word moving around league circles is that Jimmy Haslam has finally made up his mind, and the pick is Shedeur Sanders as the long-term face of the franchise. This wasn't some casual preference either. This was described as a top-down decision that reset the entire direction of the Cleveland Browns organization overnight. As sources claim, Haslam grew tired of the constant quarterback carousel, tired of analytics excuses, tired of development plans that never turned into wins.
To see the work that Shedeur puts into his craft on a daily basis in meetings on the field. So that's where the trust comes from player to player. That's where trust comes from player to coach, just that we're working at it together.
After watching packed stadiums, TV ratings spike, and the locker room rally behind one rookie, the message became clear. This wasn't just football anymore. This was business, culture, and survival. People inside the building say the shift happened fast. Meetings that used to revolve around competition suddenly turned into continuity. Offensive installs were quietly tweaked, terminology simplified. Receivers started staying late after practice, not for drills, but for chemistry. Haslam wasn't impressed by arm strength charts or completion percentages alone. What caught attention was command, poise, the way veterans listened when Shedeur spoke, the way young players mirrored him without being told. That's franchise energy, and Cleveland hasn't felt that in decades.
He looks like he's the real deal, and we can work with this. I just think that it's tough to, when you're looking through a nearsighted lens and each game determined we have to draft somebody, or this guy in college lights up one game. Yep, he's our savior, absolutely.
Attendance numbers reportedly surged after his first real action. Merchandise spiked, social engagement exploded, and when ownership sees momentum like that, patience disappears. This city has waited long enough. Inside whispers suggest the phrase "build around him" was officially spoken, and once that sentence lands in ownership meetings, everything else becomes noise. The old guard felt it immediately. This wasn't about disrespecting other quarterbacks. It was about finally choosing a direction and riding it hard, and once that call was made, there was no going back. Rival executives didn't laugh. They leaned forward. The moment insiders began confirming Haslam's stance, league phones started buzzing, not mockery, concern. Because when Cleveland commits fully, chaos usually follows. Scouts reportedly revisited old draft notes. Analysts began rewatching college tape with fresh eyes. The same throws once labeled system passes suddenly looked surgical under NFL speed. What changed the narrative wasn't one play. It was consistency. Protection calls, pre-snap reads, the calm when pressure collapsed. Multiple defensive coordinators admitted privately that disguises weren't fooling him the way rookies usually get fooled. Vegas noticed too. Odds shifted subtly. Futures adjusted. Nothing loud, just enough to signal belief. That's how markets talk when information leaks early. Media talking heads scrambled. Some doubled down on skepticism, others quietly pivoted. Nobody wants to be the analyst who missed the moment the switch flipped. Sources claim veterans around the league respect how this unfolded. No entitlement, no tantrums, just work. That kind of energy spreads fast. This chapter wasn't about hype, it was about confirmation. When ownership, locker room, and market all move in the same direction, the league listens. The locker room didn't wait for press conferences. The shift was immediate. The way linemen responded, the way receivers finished routes, the way defensive leaders talked about accountability. Quarterbacks are usually protected, but leaders are chosen. And word is, the vote was already cast without ballots. Veterans reportedly told younger players, "Lock in, this is the guy." That's not coach talk, that's survival talk. When leadership emerges naturally, coaching either adapts or gets exposed. And Cleveland's history shows what happens when leadership is ignored. Sources claim Shedeur didn't celebrate the news, he doubled down. Extra film, extra walkthroughs, quiet confidence, that's how dynasties start. This wasn't handed, it was claimed. Timing mattered. The AFC isn't waiting. Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, windows close fast. Ownership reportedly realized development delays were costing seasons. The league doesn't reward patience, it punishes hesitation. The city needed belief. Sponsors needed stability, fans needed hope, and Shedeur checked every box. This wasn't emotional, it was strategic. The next moves are already in motion. Personnel decisions, scheme shifts, draft priorities changing. Everything now points toward protection, weapons, and tempo. That's franchise commitment. And if this gamble hits, Cleveland doesn't just win games, it rewrites its identity forever. The biggest change didn't happen on Sundays. It happened behind closed doors. Once ownership locked in on Shedeur Sanders as the franchise direction, the Browns' internal hierarchy started shifting in real time. Meetings changed tone, conversations got shorter, excuses disappeared. When a team finally chooses its quarterback, patience for mixed messaging dies instantly. As sources claim, position coaches were told to stop rotating reps and start building chemistry. The playbook wasn't ripped up, it was sharpened. Concepts that didn't match Shedeur's strengths quietly faded. Timing routes, quick reads, and controlled aggression took priority over gimmicks and overthinking. The offensive line reportedly felt the shift first. Protection schemes became more defined, communication improved, linemen started talking about keeping the pocket clean instead of just executing the call. That's a subtle but massive difference, because it means belief. Receivers responded the same way. Routes became crisper, drops stopped being laughed off, missed assignments got called out on the spot. Accountability rose because everyone knew who the offense belonged to now. This is how real franchises operate. Once ownership sends the message, everything downstream aligns or gets exposed. And Cleveland hasn't seen this level of clarity since the earliest Baker Mayfield days, except this time the commitment feels deeper and calmer. Front office staff reportedly stopped floating alternative quarterback scenarios. Draft boards shifted toward protection and weapons instead of insurance plans. That alone tells the story, because teams that believe don't hedge. Sources claim the city picked up on it too. Talk radio flipped tone. Fans stopped debating who should start and started debating how far can this go. This chapter isn't loud, it's dangerous, because when a franchise stops doubting itself, opponents feel it long before the standings change. Cleveland understands what's at stake, and it's bigger than one season. The Browns have burned through quarterbacks, coaches, and patience for decades. This move isn't about winning headlines, it's about ending the cycle. League insiders reportedly compare this moment to when Buffalo finally stopped overthinking Josh Allen, or when Cincinnati handed Joe Burrow the keys without fear. The lesson is simple. Quarterbacks don't grow in chaos, they grow in trust. Sources claim Haslam doesn't want another almost. No more half commitments, no more playing it safe to save jobs. The mandate is clear: build, protect, empower. And the ripple effects are already forming. Free agents notice, players talk. Cleveland suddenly looks like a place where leadership exists instead of confusion. Defensive players reportedly feel it too. When the offense has direction, the defense plays freer. Energy changes, confidence spreads. This is why critics are getting louder, because when something real starts forming, doubt gets desperate. But doubt doesn't stop momentum. If Shedeur continues stacking calm performances, this decision will age fast and loudly. Cleveland doesn't need perfection. It needs belief sustained over time. This chapter isn't the ending, it's the ignition. And if the Browns stay disciplined, this could be the first time in modern history that Cleveland's future feels stable instead of hopeful. This is the part nobody likes to talk about. The moment when belief turns into weight. Once a franchise officially picks its quarterback, the excuses vanish. No more learning curve, no more development year. Every throw gets graded harder, every loss gets louder. That's the price of being the guy, and Cleveland knows it. Inside the building, sources claim expectations have already shifted. The same staff members who once preached patience are now asking sharper questions. Film sessions are tighter, mistakes get paused, rewound, and replayed. Not because anyone doubts, but because belief demands standards. Opposing defenses are already adjusting too. Scouts are breaking down tendencies. Blitz packages are being designed specifically to test Shedeur's pocket discipline. Defensive coordinators want to see how he reacts when reads disappear and protection breaks down. This is the league saying, "Welcome, now prove it again." Veterans in the locker room feel that energy shift the strongest. When a quarterback becomes the franchise face, leadership expectations skyrocket. Body language matters, huddles matter. How the offense responds after a bad drive matters even more. And by all accounts, teammates are watching closely, not nervously, but with intent. Cleveland fans feel it too. The conversations online aren't, "Should he start?" anymore. They're, "Can he carry this?" That's a different level of pressure. That's the kind of spotlight that either hardens a quarterback or exposes cracks. Sources claim the coaching staff is walking a thin line right now. They want to protect confidence without babying growth. They want aggression without recklessness. They want leadership without forcing personality. That balance is where careers are made or broken. And here's the part nobody admits out loud. Cleveland's past makes patience fragile. One rough stretch and the noise comes back. One ugly loss and the ghosts start whispering. The front office is aware and determined not to flinch. This chapter isn't about hype, it's about endurance. The league isn't impressed by one decision or one moment. It respects what survives pressure over time. If Shedeur stays steady when chaos hits, if Cleveland stays committed when adversity punches, this won't just be a quarterback choice. It'll be the moment the Browns finally stop repeating history. If this chapter helped break it down clearly, hit like and subscribe for more straight-up football stories that don't dodge the truth and don't sugarcoat the grind.